Edgar Cayce has been called the sleeping prophet, the father of holistic medicine, and the most documented psychic of the 20th century. For more than 40 years of his adult life, Cayce gave psychic readings to thousands of seekers while in an unconscious state, diagnosing illness and revealing lives lived in the past and prophecies yet to come. Cayce was born on a farm in Hopkinsville, Kentucky in 1877, and his psychic abilities began to appear as early as his childhood. He was able to see and talk to his late grandfather's spirit, and often played with imaginary friends, whom he said were spirits on the other side. He also displayed an uncanny ability to memorize the pages of a book, simply by sleeping on it. These gifts labelled the young Cayce as strange, but all Cayce really wanted to do was to help others. Later in life, Cayce would find that he had the ability to put himself into a sleep-like state by laying down on a couch, closing his eyes and folding his hands over his stomach. In this state of relaxation and meditation, he was able to place his mind in contact with all time and space, the universal consciousness, also known as the superconscious mind. From there, he could respond to questions as broad as, "What are the secrets of the universe?" and "What is my purpose in life?" to specific as, "What can I do to help my arthritis?" and "How were the pyramids of Egypt built?" His responses to these questions came to be called the readings, and their insights offer practical help and advice to individuals even today. Edgar Cayce was a devoted churchgoer and a Sunday school teacher. At a young age, Cayce vowed to read the Bible for every year of his life, and at the time of his death in 1945, he had accomplished this task. Perhaps the reading said it best. When asked how to become psychic, Cayce's advice was to become more spiritual. The majority of Edgar Cayce's readings deal with holistic health and the treatment of illness. As it was at the time Cayce was giving readings, still today, individuals from all walks of life and belief receive physical relief from ailments or illness through information given in these readings. Although best known for this material, the sleeping Cayce did not seem to be limited to concerns about the physical body. In fact, in their entirety, the readings discuss an astonishing 10,000 different topics. The vast array of subject matter can be narrowed down to a smaller group of topics that, when compiled together, deal with the following 5 categories: health-related information, philosophy and reincarnation, dreams and dream interpretation, ESP and psychic phenomena, and spiritual growth, meditation and prayer. When asked about the source of his information, Edgar Cayce replied that there were essentially 2. The first was the subconscious mind of the individual for whom he was giving the reading, and the second was the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records, also known as the Book of Life or God's Book of Remembrance, can be equated to the universe's supercomputer system, or perhaps what we would call today cloud computing. They are the central storehouse of all information for every individual who has ever lived upon the earth. These records contain our every thought, deed, word, feeling, and intent. They have a tremendous influence on our everyday lives, our relationships, our feelings, our belief systems, and the potential realities we draw towards us. Edgar Cayce referred to the records in this way. He wrote, "Upon time and space is written the thoughts, the deeds, the activities of an entity, as in relationships to its environs, its hereditary influence as directed, or judgment drawn by or according to what the entity's ideal is." Hence, as it has been oft called, the record is God's book of remembrance and each entity's, each soul, as the activities of a single day of an entity in the material world either make some good or bad or indifferent, depending upon the entity's application of self. When Cayce accessed the Akashic records of an individual, he had the ability to select the information that would be the most help to that person at that particular time in his or her life. Frequently, a reading might suggest that only a selection of the available material was being provided, but that the individual was being given that which would be most helpful and hopeful. When discussing the Book of Life, he stated that it was the record of God, of thee, thy soul within the knowledge of same. When asked the difference between the Book of Life and the Akashic records, he explained, "The record that the individual entity itself writes upon the skin of time and space through patience and is opened when self has attuned to the infinite and may be read by those attuning to that consciousness. The Book of God's remembrance is the Book of Life, and the Akashic records are those made by the individual as just indicated." Cayce indicated that these records are more than just a storehouse for the past when he stated, "Yes, we have the body here, and the record as has been made, and as may be with the will as exercised, and the condition irrespective of the will's influence or effect as has been created." When we have conditions that might have been, that are, that may be, do not get the three mixed up or cross purposes of either. The Akashic records connect each and every one of us to each other. They contain the essence of every archetypal symbol or mythic story which has ever deeply touched patterns of human behaviour and experience. They have been the inspiration for dreams and invention. They draw us toward or repel us from one another. They mould and shape levels of human consciousness. They are a portion of divine mind. They are the unbiased judge and jury that attempt to guide, educate, and transform every individual to become the very best that he or she can be. They embody an ever-changing array of possibilities, futures that are called into potential as we interact and respond to the circumstances of our lives. Cayce's readings suggest that each of us writes the story of our lives through our thoughts, our deeds, and our interactions with the rest of creation. This information has an effect on us in the here and now. In fact, the Akashic records have such an impact upon our lives and the potentials and possibilities we draw towards us that any exploration of them cannot help but provide us with insights into the nature of ourselves and our relationships to the universe. There is much more to our lives, our histories, and our individual influence upon our tomorrows than we have perhaps dared to imagine. By accessing information from the Akashic Records, the universe's computer database, much might be revealed to us. The world, as we have collectively perceived it, is but a faint shadow of reality.